happening, everybody? As you can see, it's big block Chevy time here at MMCG. We're getting everything all set up, ready to drop the engine down in the Blazer. And I was going to use that intake that we got with the heads, and so I could put the engine plate on it, and or the carburetor plate, and use that to set it down in there. But we ran into our first problem already, which never fails. As you guys can see, what's the problem here? I think these, well, I'm pretty sure the heads and intake were off of, well, I know for a fact, they're off of a 565. It's probably a tall deck. So what I'm going to do, as you guys can see, I'm going to take the valve cover off of this head, and I'm going to measure from the deck surface to the rail and do the same to these Gen 4 heads. Alright, after further investigations, that intake is for a tall deck, which, you know, when I bought this stuff off of the gentleman, it was on a 565, which I should have known right then and there. You can't get a 565 out of a standard deck big block Chevy, so it had to have been a tall deck. The heads are still going to be okay. They will work on a standard deck, but we are going to have to purchase a new intake for the standard deck big block Chevy, which is no big deal. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, you can have this milled down 250 on each side and make it work. Is what my buddy told me. I phoned a friend, which is very knowledgeable on big block Chevys, which he's also the chassis guy, Mr. Jason Walters at JW Race Cars. He's been building big block Chevys his whole life. He's been into race cars and chassis his whole life, so he knows what's going on. He said, but we could get the intake milled and make it work with that setup, or this setup, but I'm not gonna. Somebody's already, you know, it's got fogger ports in it. It's got holes already drilled and tapped here, which I don't know what the, you know, this one obviously is for the stripper hole down, but I don't know what he had going on here. Like I said, old school racers, they know their tricks, so obviously he had a purpose for them, but I don't know what it is. So we'll just plan on getting a different intake that'll fit that setup. But I think I am going to have my buddy Phil over at the machine shop. I'm going to take these heads in and have them and get them checked, just to be on the safe side, guys. I mean, the guy showed me receipts, like I told you guys when we bought the heads, that they were all supposedly new. But do I really want to take a chance and blow up my short block over something stupid? So I'm just going to take them into Phil and have Phil pressure test them. You can't magnum flux aluminum. You got to have them pressure tested. Make sure the guides and everything, make sure they're supposed to be what they're supposed to be. So, but that's where we're at for that. I just talked to Mr. Dave over at Dave's Collision. They got the tailgate finished up, buffed up, so the El Camino should be done tomorrow, which is pretty cool, or Monday, one of the two. So that's pretty cool. They just got to finish buffing the tailgate, and it'll be ready to come home, which is pretty fast turnaround, but that's awesome. He said, I know you're working on the Blazer, and you probably like the extra room. I said, well, I missed my car too, so. He said, but once it's done, you know, he's got to have it picked up right away. He ain't a storage facility. But Dave, we really appreciate it when you watch this video, man. We can't thank you enough. But yeah, guys, that's where we're at with the big block. I'm just going to probably hook a strap up front and rear, and then we'll get it shoved down in there. And we're going to use them valve covers that are hanging on the wall just for mock-up, just to set them on there so nothing gets down in the engine. And I'm just gonna have to tape up the intake surface for when it goes back down to Jason to get ride height set and the stuff that he's got to finish doing to it. But that's where we're at. We'll bring you guys back here after we get everything else figured out. And we got Mr. Tyler over there. Get your springs put on yet? Not yet. Car. I'll take the other side. We're gonna have to here. After we get the trans in it, we're going to have to, as she just showed you down here, the mid plate, we're lined up, but it's not, there's still a gap in here. So, I have to loosen up the motor mounts, or the front engine plate, and then after we get the trans, suck everything together and then tighten everything down as one, but it's in there. And let me tell you, as you can tell by my sweatiness, it was, I just left the cherry pickers stationary, and then I just used the rollers and casters on the truck and slid the truck up to it. Because this cherry picker's old and it doesn't roll very well, it needs new casters. Hello, we're up here.
I'm looking.
But we're going to let the weight off and see how far this front end drops right now. You want to stand back over there and... Here she goes all the way to the big block. Really didn't drop that much. Not as much as I thought it would. Wow. There, now she did. Just had to make the suspension steady. Oh, look at it from the side. I think it's still going to be, we need longer coilovers in the back for sure. I was kind of hoping that the weight of the big block would bring the front end down enough to where I could get away with the coilovers that are on there, just to jack them up, because the spring pressure's only at half seat right now, or half pressure. I still have room to spin them up, but it ain't gonna come up that far. It'd ride so hard in the back there wouldn't be any travel at all. So another thing to the list. Well, there we go, guys. She's all installed. One big block Chevy Xtreme Blazer. As you guys can see, now all the tie rod ends, they plane out how they're supposed to. Looks like this tire's kicked out a little bit at the top still, but we're gonna have to adjust that. But she all fits in there beautiful. Of course, you know, these ain't the heads that are gonna be on it. Like I said, there's a little gap in between the mid plate and the back of the engine. But I just got the intake and valve cover setting on there. That's not the setup we're running, as you guys all know that. But I wanted to get this down in there, and you guys can see how much travel there is from the travel limiters to the top of the pad there. Quite a bit. And as we drive it, the suspension will settle more, but we're still going to have to come up in the back. Like I said before, it still sits. I mean, it looks better, but it's still way low in the back. It's gonna have to come up a couple inches, but I'm kind of glad I didn't put them 2-inch drop spindles on the front. But whew. Yeah, I wanted to get this put in tonight. That way I can shove it over to the wall, because like I said, I talked to Mr. Dave earlier, and all they had left to do was buff the tailgate and put the trim back on, and it was ready to go. So the El Camino should be home tomorrow, which is awesome. Or Monday. I mean, if it's Monday, that ain't gonna hurt my feelings either. But if it's ready tomorrow, we'll go pick it up tomorrow on Friday. But I just wanted to do a video with you guys today of us shoving this big block down in there. Seeing what it looked like with the drag fronts on, the well drag lights. She looks pretty good. Man, I can't wait to actually get this thing fired up and running. But just because it's sitting down in there, you know, it's got to come back out, and I'm going to rip it down. I'm going to check the bearing clearances and check everything on the bottom end still. And we got to do all that. You know, I'm not just going to throw it together, you know, throw them heads on it. I am going to get the heads checked while they're off, just to be 100% sure. And while the heads are out, when we get this back from Jason at JW Race Cars, we'll pull the engine back out, get it on the stand, and we'll build it over the winter. So hopefully that'll be the only thing left to do besides wiring the truck is the engine. Trance is, like Tony said, trance ain't going to take long. I already got 2 of them sitting over there. We figured out what case we're going to use. There's a better of the 2 cases, so I just got to get the Hughes kit I want to put in it for the manual valve body and all that stuff, trans brake, and we'll be good to go there. So, but anyways, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap this video up. One big block Chevy 04 Xtreme Blazer. Be coming at you guys soon. As usual, though, everything takes time. But like I said, guys, I really appreciate everybody for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. All right, bye-bye.